So today's session, obviously, so a quick introduction. So my name is Apoorv, and I'm the country advisor for Wright State University. I handle all the applications and all the student queries related to India. So obviously, in future also, if you would need any assistance, so you can reach out to Mania Education. You can reach out to me, and we would be happy to help you. So that's about my profile. So in today's session the idea is to obviously talk about Wright State University, but also talk about like certain important aspects like the US education system and also the scholarship part, right? Because the scholarship again is very essential for all the students that are applying. So understanding how it works. And we will also deep dive into how do we get into the assistantship, that is the GRA and the GTA, right? So without wasting much time, like let's start this session today. So if like anybody would have guessed, right, so Wright State University, the name itself comes from Wright brothers. So Wright brothers, it is the birthplace of the Wright brothers, where they created the first successful airplane, right? So the bicycle shop where they invented the successful airplane, that's like just I think maybe 3 miles from Wright State University campus. So it's very, very nearby. It's in Dayton itself. And to honor those pioneers, Wright State University was named after them. So that's a little bit of an history. Now moving in, right? Like so again, you would be wondering like where is Wright State University, right? Like yeah, you have heard New York, you have heard Texas, you have heard California, but like Ohio is the state where Wright State University is in located in, and specifically in Ohio we are located in Dayton, right? So this is what we call as the Midwest. So Midwest, is very well known in terms of what kind of an uh, demographic is there. So if any product is launched in the US, it is normally launched in Dayton first. Why is that so? Because Dayton as a place like represents the demographic of USA as a whole. So all the ethnicities, all the various income backgrounds and also they are all very similar to how larger USA is. So if a product works in Dayton, then a product is very likely to also succeed in an US. So it is considered to be the test market. So Midwest and in Ohio and in Dayton is where a lot of these product testing happens. Now about the location, right? So one of the things about Midwest is that it becomes equally cold and it also has like summers like India. So again, it's not like it's going to snow, the entire year or something like that. It's very balanced, atmosphere. So couple of months, 2, 3 months are like little snow, but other than that, it's a very pleasant weather. Now, if I talk about local criteria, in creation, so there is a Five River Metro Park, there is a Kings Island, there is a community event, and again, there are a lot of other places that I've not mentioned in this slide. Now, for international student, what is important is to understand the cost of living, right? Now, cost of living in Dayton is I would say we are among the top five institutes, in comparison to if you see Dayton. So we are the most economical. We are among the top five places to stay in the US, because the living expenses compared to New York, compared to California, compared to Michigan and all these other places, the living expenses is very less. So somewhere around 400 to $500 per month is your living expenses. So you can easily be comfortable in a $5 to $6,000 annual amount. So that is a very good thing for a student, because then they can save out on a lot of money when it comes to the living cost. So just moving on, like obviously a lot of you would be curious about like the ranking. So we are ranked 148 in engineering schools, 146 in EGR PhD program. So somebody who is interested in PhD. And if you see the funding, so that is an important part I would like to explain a little bit. So what happens when there is a public university and there is a private university? Now see, in private university, most of the funding comes in the form of the grants, like whatever is provided to the university via their alumni and stuff. Now in public, obviously we get the money from our alumni and all, but because it's a public university, the federal government would also give us like funding. So we receive like, almost 12.9 million in research funding. So what that essentially means is that when you join Wright State University, then the chances of you getting scholarships, assistantships are going to be very high. Why? Because we receive the funding from the government and from our alumni. So the pool of money that we have is a little high compared to the other universities. So because it's a research public university, I would say there is a definite advantage of making use of this opportunity. So again, moving on, if you see engineering and computer science, so before I go into like this particular aspect, this is just like a snapshot of all the organization, right? So material advantage is there, then Society of Automotive Engineers is there, that is SAE, then there is a cyber security club, then there is like women in computing, then there is Engineers Without Borders. So what these organizations help a student in is that, one, sometimes you can get a part-time work like while working for this organization, because they would need volunteers, they would need people to work part-time. In terms of exposure, you would also be connecting with different students from different background. Now let's assume you are going for computer science. So in all your classes, you will interact with computer science students. But student organizations are the place where you can meet other students as well, right? So that is one fundamental, like understanding that in US, if you are going, you should understand that you should be very active. So one is the curriculum and the academics part, another is your overall development. So also focus on that and make sure that you make use of these student organizations. Okay. Now, when I talk about GRA, GTA, so we offer evening, online, blended classes, and the class size is like, normally very confined, like, it's a small class sizes, independent study. There is a concept, so I would like to explain this concept. So I'm not sure if any of you are aware of the concept of office hours. Okay. So in US, there is a concept of office hours. So what does that mean is that if I am a professor, and if I teach you 2 hours daily and I take three classes, so then 6 hours is when I will teach you in the classroom. That is my 6 hours, three classes, 2 hours each, 6 hours. But what I will do is also every week I will set aside few hours that I will call as, I'll put them aside. So that I call as office hours. So now what happens is you attend these 6 hours, and if you have any query, if you have any doubt, if you want to discuss any particular project, if you have any idea that you want to discuss with the professor, all you need to do is like drop an email, and you need to book a time with them during like an office hour. So they post these office hours in advance. So let's say if a professor is going to be available for 10 hours, so the entire schedule will be there, that okay, 6 hours he is going to teach these three classes, 2 hours each, and 4 hours he'll be sitting in his office. Okay. And if the timing says that for 4 hours he's going to be in office, even if no student comes in the office, he is still going to be there for 4 hours. Okay. So most students are not aware of this, but like you need to utilize the office hours time period in the US. Because if you are doing self study and if you have some doubts that, let's say, you are not able to ask in the class, you can use these office hours to take advantage of that. So in Wright State, we take office hours very seriously, and all the professors like set aside these office hours. Okay. So now just moving on, like to more detail in the sense of like credit system. So the main topic that is there, understanding the credit system. So what is a credit system? So in India, we all know that if, let's say, take an example of BTech. So if you do a BTech degree, it's a 4-year course, right? And in 4 year, every year you will study certain subjects. Now in US, what happens is it's like a similar concept, but along with the subject, there is also a credit hour associated with it. That is, how many hours are you going to study this subject, or what is the weightage of this subject in the entire curriculum? So for easy understanding, I will just take an example of master's degree in Wright State University, which is of 30 credits. So if you can see this slide, so I have like taken the example of MS in computer science because that is the most popular program that most of the Indian students go. But you can consider it for mechanical, electrical, industrial, renewable, clean energy, doesn't matter. So all the programs in Wright State University on a master's level on engineering department are of 30 credits. So now let's understand what happens. So one subject typically is of 3 credit hours. Okay. So what happens as a result of that is that this master's degree that says it's of 30 credits, right? So this 30 credit is normally like then 10 subjects. So in master's degree, you will study 10 subjects and then you will graduate. Now, certain universities would have 33 credit hours. Certain universities would have 36 credit hours. So you will have to understand that how much is the credit hour weightage, right? And what is the minimum number of credits that are required in order to graduate. Okay. Now, why are these credits important, or why am I explaining you this credit, right? So you understand this structure. So let's take this example. Now, if you see the program is of 30 credit. Now, what we have done is we have designed this structure. So algorithm design and analysis, it is a 3 credit course. Okay. Now, every student who is going to go for MS in computer science will take this 3 credit hour course. So then 3 credits are gone. Okay. Now what happens is they have a choice between advanced software engineering, advanced programming languages, and distributed computing. So you don't have to take all 3. You can choose whether you want to take software engineering, you can choose if you want to take programming languages, and you can choose if you want to take distributed computing. Now any of these 3, any one that you choose is again of 3 credits. Okay. So now what happens is 3 plus 3, that is like 6 credit. Now, as long as you register for 6 credits in Wright State University, you would be eligible for, I would say, part-time jobs, and you would also be eligible for full-time student status. So now if I explain, right, so the 30 credits is the entire program. Now in one semester, if you register for 6 credits, then obviously your program becomes of what, like 5 semesters, right? 6 into 5. But we all know that the master's program in US is generally of 2 years. Okay. So how is it the program of 2 years if we are only taking 6 credits in first semester, right? So the science behind that is that 6 is the minimum that you need to take. But if you take 6 credits in first semester, in second semester you can also take 9 credits. So then it becomes 6 plus 9, 15 credit. So 15 plus 15, so that is in 4 semesters, then your 30 credits are gone. So in 4 semesters, 2 years, your master's degree is complete. So that's why if sometimes people say, sir, is the program of 1 year, is the program of 2 year, is the program of 3 year, is it of 18 month, is it of 24 month? So in reality, in USA, the program does not has any duration. Okay. The program is on the basis of credit, and how many credits that you register in a particular semester will decide the time frame that is required in order to complete the master's degree. Okay. Now let's say if there is an institution that is providing the program as 30 credits, but they only allow you to register for minimum 9 credits. So in that case, if they take 9 credits, then 9, that is 2 semesters, 18 credits. Now in third semester, if I take 12 credits, so then in 3 semesters, I can complete my 30 credits. So then that program can technically be also completed in 3 semesters. Similarly, if a person wants, he will take 9, 9, 9, and probably a 3, right? So how you take the courses, like there is a complete flexibility that USA provides, and that also is something that Wright State provides, but there has to be minimum hygiene that is maintained. So in Wright State University, you need to register for 6 credits. That is the minimum that you need to register in per semester. So I hope you would have understood, like, the credit system, like 80% of it. But once we are done with this PPT, so we will keep like separate 20 minutes where I would try and answer all your questions and answers. So don't worry if you have a question right now. Okay, just put it in the chat box. Once we are done with this PPT, then we are going to take each and every question. Okay, so this is the credit system. Now, how does again this credit system help is, if I am a person who wants to do MS in computer science, but I want to do it in data science or in machine learning or in artificial intelligence. So what I will do is I will take algorithm design and analysis. Then I will take advanced programming languages, because both are required for machine learning and data science and data analytics. Without programming, you cannot do computer science. So I'll take algorithm design. I'll take advanced programming languages. So my 6 credit is done. Now the core courses are done. So what is remaining is the 24 credit. Now what happens is, if the 24 credits are remaining, we have segregated them in the form of electives. So as the word suggests, if it is electives, then you will choose. So if I am a student, I can choose all my 24 credits in the field that I am focusing on. So if I am interested in data science, I will take introduction to data science, advanced techniques of data science, data visualization, and data visualization. Then I will take R, then I will take Python, then I'll take like programming. So in this way, I will choose all my subjects basis the fact that I want to grow or I want to specialize in machine learning within CS. Okay. Now let's say if somebody wants to do software engineering, so they will do algorithm design and analysis, then they will do advanced software engineering. So then 6 credit is gone. Now in 24 credits, they will again take courses that are related to software engineering. So in Wright State University, every student in a way is creating their own curriculum. Okay. So you have a complete flexibility of designing your own curriculum. So if you see the percentage wise breakup, if the program is of 30 credits, 6 is the core, 24 is the elective. So that means 80% is the electives, 20% is the core. Okay. So I hope that is clear and you now understand how do you create. So sometimes when you say, sir, do you offer MS in data science program? So I would say, no, we do not offer MS in data science. Now, why we do not offer MS in data science is because we want you to create your own program. So you will take algorithm design and analysis, you will take programming languages, 6 credits. Now 24 credits you can devote in the field of data science. So you can take big data, you can take data visualization, you can take R, you can take Python, you can take Tableau, so you can take as many classes as you want. So even though your degree will say MS in CS, but you would have the entire knowledge, sometimes even better knowledge than an MS in data science degree, because you have created the program as per your own needs. Okay. So I hope that would have given you a broad understanding of how the credit system works in the US. Now we are just moving on to the next phase about some of the programs. So if you see again, as I gave you the example, computer science is one, electrical engineering is another, industrial and system engineering is another, mechanical and material science is there. We also have a standalone material in mechanical program. Biomedical engineering is there, computer engineering is there. So now these are all the programs. Now let's say somebody will say, sir, I want to do an MS in VLSI, can I do it? So technically on the website you would never find MS in VLSI in US and stuff like that. Okay, what you need to do is you need to go into MS in electrical, and in MS in electrical you need to see what are the sub specializations that are there. So what happens is, if somebody wants to specifically focus on signal processing, again the same pattern, remember, I'll take 6 credits of core courses in electrical, and then I will take the 24 remaining electives in the field of signal processing. Now obviously you cannot just study signal processing, because it will also include like some certain concept of control system. So obviously you will also take certain classes of control system. But what I am essentially trying to say is that you have the complete flexibility of how you want to shape your degree, okay, at Wright State University. So that is the biggest advantage that you will find in Wright State, that everybody is creating something that is like very, very relevant for them. It's not that, oh, this is the degree, these are the 30 credits, everybody study this by. No, that is not how it works. You create your own structure. Okay. So again, data science is there, big data is there, machine learning is there, visualization is there, database mining is there. In electrical we have multipedia, and then again we have healthcare. We also have a separate aerospace program. So we have a master's in aerospace system engineering. We also have a separate material science program. So we have a MS in master material science engineering. We also have a separate industrial program. So again, we have like a lot of programs in MS. So what we don't offer is civil engineering. We don't have civil, and we don't have chemical engineering. So beside these two engineerings, we have like almost all the courses that the student is interested in. Now see, this is again another example. I would not want to waste your time, so we'll just quickly go ahead with the other slide, but this is the same idea. Now MS in cyber security, same 30 credits, but this time the core is already set because it is a standalone program. So 12 credits are already sorted for you. So if you see 4 subjects, I told you one subject is of how many? 3 credits. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 into 3 is 12, right? So 12 credits is already set for you. That is the core. Now what remains? What remains is 9 to 12, right? That is the cyber security electives that you will take. So 12 plus 12, 24. Now what remains is 6. So if you do a project work, then the project work is going to be of 6 credits. So then 12, 12, 24 plus 6, 30. So your master's degree is completed. Now let's say you say, Apur, I don't want to do project. I want to do thesis. So then 12 plus 9, that becomes what? 21. Then 21 plus thesis is of 9. So again, it becomes 30 credit. So that's how you can design your own curriculum, and you can choose if you want to take thesis option, or if you don't want to take thesis option, you can take more electives in cyber security and you can do a project of 6 credit. Okay, so I hope this is clear now, the credit system. Now this is an MS in clean and renewable. So why there is a separate slide for this program is because I assume every one of you is watching like National Geographic and all, right? So we know that global climate change is real, right? Like, so in future there is going to be a huge demand of clean energy, like, engineers. What does that mean? So if you see Reliance is now shifting to clean energy. If you see ONGC is shifting to clean energy. Compressed natural gas is coming. If you see cars, automobile, so now they are moving into electricity. That is again very clean energy, right? So they are now Tesla. If you see, Tesla is making electrical vehicles. So the future is going to be very green. 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, nobody is going to study like these traditional courses, right? Like everybody will study something that is more advanced. So this program is little more advanced. Okay. It is not a program for everyone, but if somebody has a background in engineering, be it mechanical, be it mathematics, be it, like I would say BTech in electrical computer, as long as you have engineering and you are very good in mathematics, then you can take use of that advantage. Now this will prepare you for jobs in companies where they're focusing on clean energy. And again, as we all know, manufacturing is going to stay. Even if you are manufacturing a car, so the manufacturing setup won't change. The only technology behind it will change. If right now they are running it on diesel or in petrol, so then again in future it is going to run on electricity or like some other fuel that they are going to create. It's going to be clean energy. Now what is wind energy, what is solar energy, right? So these are all forms of clean energy. So in India we all know, right, that solar is big. You would see that some of you people on your own houses, you would have installed like solar panels on the terrace. Why? Because obviously it's clean, it's cheap, it's good for the environment. So that is a program I would recommend everyone who has an interest in clean energy or green, technologies should definitely check the curriculum out. So moving in, like this is PhD in engineering. I'm not going to spend much time here, but the idea or why I've kept this slide is that if you do a master's degree, so master's degree in Wright State University, as I said, is of 30 credits, right? So 30 credits if you have already done, then if you do a PhD, your PhD is going to be of 60 credits. So total credits that are required in order to complete a PhD is 90. Okay. So if you have done a master's 30, now if you do a PhD, you only are required to do 60 more. But if you are somebody who is directly wanting to go from bachelor's in computer science to directly a PhD in computer science, you don't want to do masters. So then obviously you can do a PhD in engineering, but then your credits required would be 90, right? So it does not really, make any sense, like you can do it both ways. But obviously the advantage of doing a PhD degree directly is that 80% of the time the PhD degree in the US is funded. So there are two things. One, you will apply and they'll reject you. Okay, so topic closed. One is you will apply and you will get some funding. Okay, so in PhD, normally you either get a rejection, or if you get an admit, then some kind of funding is provided to you so that you can help out the university in the research work. So that is about PhD. Now again, if you say, sir, can I do a PhD in industrial engineering? So if you will search for PhD in industrial on website, you would not find it. you would have to go into PhD in engineering, and these are all the subset. So if somebody wants say, oh sir, I want to do PhD in robotics, I am very much interested. So if you search on Google PhD in robotics Wright State, you would not find it. You will have to search for PhD in engineering, and in that there is an area of controls and robotics. So that is the area that you will focus on, and that's why your PhD will be PhD in engineering with a specialization in controls and robotics. Okay, so be very careful when you are shortlisting or when you are evaluating universities. So you need to see their course curriculum. You cannot be like, oh, I just went on their website, I saw the program name, I applied. No, that is stupid. You need to go through the curriculum. So moving on. Now comes the part, okay, sir, like I am interested in Wright State University. I like the program. I have done enough research. I know, that I am interested, right? So what now? So what now is the requirement? So obviously currently on a graduate level, we need somewhere around 2.75 to a 3 GPA on a scale of 4. What does that mean? That means somewhere around 65 to 70% on a scale of 100. Now I understand that certain universities like JNTU, Kakinada, JNTU, Anantapur, and there are other universities that would not give very high grading. So even if your percentage is 60% and above, I would recommend that you try. Obviously, we would prefer if your percentage is 65 to 70%, but even if it is above 60%, try. Now every program would like look into the your profile in a different fashion. So only once you apply, then you will know it. Okay. Now in terms of English requirement, it's very simple. TOEFL of 79 or higher, IELTS of 6 or higher. And in IELTS, we don't have any separate demand for individual band. So as long as your overall score is 6, it's all right. We don't need to worry about the undergrad like or the individual band. Now GMAT, right? So GMAT I have written as 400 or more. That is for the MBA program. But GMAT can be waived, like in the sense it is only required if your profile is weak. So we will evaluate your profile. If we think that we can directly give you an admit in the MBA program, then we would not ask for an MBA. Oh, sorry, not ask for the GMAT. But if your profile is weak, then we are going to ask you to appear for the GMAT, and at least 400 is what we are seeking. Obviously, we are expecting somewhere around 500 to 550 to probably 600. But then at least 400 is what we need. Now coming to the GRE. So in GRE, we are seeking like, somewhere around 300 or more, that's an average. But because of the COVID situation, so because of pandemic, right? So for fall 2021 and for spring 2021, that is the program that will start in January. So we have waived the GRE. So currently, if you apply to Wright State University, you would not be required to submit the GRE score. So all you need to do is focus on your undergrad. Now, statement of purpose, it is not required for all the programs. Like for example, computer science program does not need it. So if any one of you wants to apply for computer science program, they can just apply on the basis of their undergraduate performance. Now, letter of recommendation, similarly, if we see that your profile is weak and we need the LORs, we will ask for it. If not, we don't need it. So it's not a mandatory requirement. And again, not all programs would ask for it. Now, on undergrad level, if there is a high school student who is attending this session today, so you need to, like, obviously we see the history. So we will see your ninth marks, your 10th marks, and your 11th marks. So we will see all the three marks. If you have already completed your 12th, then we will only look at your 12th. Okay. So understand two perspective, right? One is 9th, 10th, 11th. We'll take a look at that. If that's not there, if you've already cleared 12th, then we will only check 12th. Okay. Now 2.22 to 2.5 is somewhere around like 65 to 70% in undergrad. Now in undergrad, I normally recommend that you try and score 75 to 80% or more, because that's where the scholarship starts. Okay. Now in terms of TOEFL, you need 61. SAT is optional, and IELTS you need only 5.5. Okay. So moving in, now comes the part, okay, I know the requirements, I know about Wright State, I know about the programs, but can I afford it? Is it economical? What is happening, right? So now comes the cost part. Now in cost part, you need to understand that cost of Wright State University is very, very economical. So again, as I said, that 1125 dollar per credit hour is the credit hour rate of Wright State, and you need to understand the cost structure via credit hour. So for every university that you meet in fairs and all that, try and understand if there is a credit hour fee, and if there is a credit hour fee, what is the rate for that in terms of dollar, because then you can calculate your fee on your own. So now this fee that is kept here is of 12 credit, that is 1 year, and in 1 year we have kept 30,800, and insurances book is of 3252. Living expenses I have kept it as 9,000. Like, remember in the first slide I said that the living expenses are only going to be 6,000. So this is what we put on the I-20. Okay, so this is the on-campus cost. Like, grad students will stay off campus, right? So that's why the cost is going to be somewhere around $6,000, and 9,000 we keep because it also helps in the visa, because again then you are showing at least 2 to 3,000 more in terms of living expenses, even when you are getting your I-20. So that is the graduate fee. Undergraduate, it's mentioned 19,346 is 1 year fee. 9,000 again is what we put on I-20, but the same thing, 6 to 7,000 per year is the cost. And insurance amount obviously does not change, and books and all, so that's common for both, that is 3252. Now comes the part that, okay, sir, you have written about a scholarship. So what about that, right? So the scholarship part is somewhere like, so we offer merit-based scholarship. It is done on the basis of GPA. So let's go one step before. So I said we need a 2.75 to a 3 GPA on a grad level, right? Now, if your GPA is above 3, right? So then you would be eligible for the maximum scholarship, that is of $10,000 per year. Okay. Now, if your GPA is little low, let's say like 2.8, 2.9, so maybe you still get an admit, but this time you will get a scholarship of somewhere around $2,500 per year. So then rather than getting 10,000 for 2 years, you will get 5,000 for 1 year. Now see, again, if you understand, so 13,800 is like 1 year, right? Now if you get $5,000, so then your fees comes almost 13,800 minus 5,000, so it comes less than $10,000. So even if you take 80 rupees conversion, in 8 lakh rupees, you are doing your 1 year. So your entire program is kind of getting completed in somewhere around 15 to 16 lakh rupees. And it is a STEM course in an USA from a research university that is in top 100. So again, in terms of return on investment, the money that you invest, if somebody does not understand the concept of return on investment, so the money that you put in your master's degree and the kind of average salary that a person gets post masters, so you invest like almost what, I would say $40,000 in a master's degree in terms of tuition fee, and then you end up getting like a $60,000 as an average salary. So it's a very win-win situation, and $40,000 is what I'm keeping without the scholarship. If you get a scholarship, then again $10,000 is removed. So scholarships are very, very useful. It helps you in planning out your cost part, but you need to be careful. If you are currently in third year, if you are currently in fourth year, then you have the time to improve your GPA. So do that. If you are into work experience, and if your GPA is already done, the 4 years are already passed, then you technically cannot change your GPA, but then you can add work experience, you can add statement of purpose, add letter of recommendation, try to strengthen your case. Okay, so that's about a scholarship. Now when you see deadlines, right, so I have put like just an estimate. Like in reality, Wright State operates on a rolling basis. What does a rolling basis mean? You apply right now for spring 2021 intake. If we can give you an admit, we will give you an admit, and we will also process your I-20 for the same intake, that is spring 2021. Now if you get a visa slot and you can get your visa approved, you can join us in January 2021. But if you say, no, Apur, that's too soon, that's too nearby, I cannot plan it, I am yet to take my IELTS and all that, fine. You can also right now apply for fall 2021. Before fall, there is also summer 2021 that starts in May. Okay, so that's why if you see, there are two things, like one is the fall, then spring, then summer. So if we see as per the calendar order, First comes the spring semester, that is in January. Then comes summer semester, that is in May. Then comes fall semester, that is in August. So all the three intakes you can apply. You have to choose which is the intake that you are comfortable in applying for. Now also remember, if you are admitted into any particular intake, let's say if you are admitted in spring semester, but if you cannot make it in time, then obviously you can defer your admission to the next intake. So that is also a possibility. So we'll just quickly go ahead. We are in the last phase of couple of slides, and then we'll open this session for Q&A. So this is the simple process. You create the account. Everything is online. We do not accept anything in hard copies. Please do not send us any couriers. Everything is going to be digital. We are trying to go paperless, right? So do not waste your money in courier. Do not waste your time in sending us transcript and all that. No, everything digital. You create an account, you fill up the profile, then you pay the $40 application fee. Then on the portal you will see that there is a provision of uploading all your documents. So then you upload the required documents, then we will verify all those documents. If there is anything that is missing, we will ask for it. If not, you will see on the portal a green tick will be mentioned in front of all the documents that you have uploaded. Once your application is complete, you will get the admission decision. Very simple circle. The whole application can be completed in 20 minutes. That's it. Now another insider tip. When you are applying to Wright State University, always provide individual semester wise mark sheets for all the 8 semesters. Do not waste your money, time and effort in getting transcript, at least for Wright State. See, you need to check with Manya Education on the policy of every institution. But for Wright State University, you need to scan all the original 8 semester wise mark sheet, combine them in a single PDF, upload that PDF on the portal. And if there are backlogs, do not try to hide it from us. Okay, we will find it. So if there are backlogs, make sure you also upload the backlog, mark sheets. So don't eliminate that. Don't try to be super smart. So that's about the process. Like last part, like obviously is the RATA positions, as I had said. So I'll just quickly cover it up. This is like a segregation of one department. I have taken an example of electrical engineering, or I would say, computer science. So in one department, typically we would have 30 to 40 students coming in each year. And if you see, almost 30% of them would be eligible for GRA, GTA, because we have 11 fully paid GRA, 10 fully paid GTA, that is 21. 9 out of them is international. Then 4 graders is there, 1 is international, 6 tutors, 2 international. So if you can see, 9 plus 10 plus 2, 12. So out of almost 30 to 40 students that are coming in each program, almost 12 of them have a chance of getting a GRA and GTA. So out of 36, if 12 are getting it, so almost 33% of the people can get a GRA GTA position. Now in Wright State University, if you get a GRA GTA position, then there are chances that you will get some payment from the university in terms of your, stipend and stuff like that. Now it is very important to note that once you apply to Wright State University, you would not get the GRA GTA with the admission decision. You need to complete one semester at the university and score 3 GPA on a scale of 4. So if you apply right now, the only thing that you will get is a merit-based scholarship. You will not get GRA, GTA right now. But once you are at Wright State University and you complete your one semester, then you will be eligible for GRA, GTA positions. And if you get that position, then there are also certain positions where your tuition fee can be waived off. So that is a very big achievement, right? Because then you are only paying the tuition fee for one semester. The remaining semesters are being waived off because you have secured a GRA and a GTA position. Now, I am not saying that everyone will get it. Please do not think that everyone will get it. Only very handful, very bright, very sharp, very good profile students are going to get the opportunities of GRA and GTA, but those are available. Now, talking about the companies, So obviously we have companies like AMD, Caterpillar, Cummins, Mercedes-Benz, Qualcomm, Northrop, Nokia. And again, like a lot of, like recently one of our students got placed in Tesla. Then again, two of the students got placed in Accenture. One of them like had an interview with, I think, Google. So not sure if he cracked it. But so these are the kind of companies that are recruited, or the kind of people, students are going in. Now, in terms of academia, obviously, if you want to do a PhD, people have gone into University of Illinois, University of Central Michigan, IISER in Kolkata in India. So somebody did his PhD, came back in India, is now a professor. So these are the kind of companies, and these are the kind of opportunities that Right State opens up for you. And these are some of the local relationships. These are some of the names that you might have not heard, but these are local in the sense these are located in Ohio, in Dayton. So we have a very strong relationship, so that internships are easy. So if you see, like, DPL and Emerson Technology, so again climate technology, so lot of our renewable students like go here. Northrop is there, then Happy Engineering is there. So if you see mechanical electrical commissioning technology, so HEP Engineering, so they hire. Then Booz Allen is there, then Crown Lift Trucks is there. So again, heavy manufacturing. Then again, in terms of robotics, you have Yaskawa, like Motorman Robotics. So electronics, power electronics, signal processing. Then again, Caterpillar is there, again mechanical. So these are, again, in aerospace, we have GE Aviation. So these are all the companies that we have like local tie-ups relationships with. So it helps, like, in getting the students in internship and all that. So this is like obviously the last slide, like I'm coming to the close of this session. So these are some of the testimonials. This is just there for you if you want to glance. So Shubham, like, currently is working in Intel. Augusto, like, studied. He is currently in Mercedes Benz. And like again, like she went into the research mode, Dhanashri. And this guy is working, Aman Ali. He's working on recent groundbreaking technologies related to AI and blockchain and machine learning. So these are some of the success stories. And these are my details. Obviously, in case if you need to reach out to me, like, feel free to write to me or drop me an email, note down my email address, whatever works. And this is obviously the details of Manya Education. So I'm sure you are all aware about Manya. And just a fun fact, so I myself used to be an employee of Manya like some 5 years down the line. So I've learned a lot from Manya Education. And if you do decide that you need some application assistance and you need somebody to guide, so feel free to, like, use information from Manya Education. And obviously, if you reach out to me directly, I've already shared my details. So feel free. But like, you should all start asking questions, because until unless you are going to ask questions, then we would not be able to, like, really address, like, what are your doubts and what are your concerns. So on that note, I'll just wrap up this session, so that we have almost, like, I would say 15 to 17 minutes to take all of your question. So just allow me like 1 minute while I go through the chat and I take on all the questions. Okay, so the first question we have, okay, just give me a second. Okay, so Venkata Naveen says, I want to study my bachelor's degree abroad. Please help me, speak to me. So what I would recommend is, like, Naveen, you should obviously be in touch with Manya Education, and obviously understand first of all, like, what is the program that you should apply, like, what are the requirements. We would obviously need to understand your profile in terms of what are your percentage in 9th, 10th, 11th, and obviously if you have completed your 12th. So we would need to see your profile details, but for sure reach out to them. And if they have any query, like, they will route it to me. If you want directly to reach out to me, that is also possible, right? So just email me, whichever works for you. But start asking questions, start speaking to students, and we would be very happy to help you out. Okay. Now another question is there in terms of Meher. Meher says, are there integrated programs in MA English literature concentration, MA leading to PhD? So Meher, how it works is that, like, I would obviously have to check about the integration part. Now English as a field is very vast, right? So sometimes an MA in literature is like a separate standalone program altogether. Sometimes an MA in English is there with a literature in concentration. But a PhD in Wright State University is not possible. Why? Because PhD programs we only offer on the engineering level. So on arts and sciences, in terms of English literature, we do not offer it. Obviously, there might be some universities that are offering a PhD or an MA plus PhD. So you check that out. What we would be probably offering is somewhere around MA in English literature and all, but I'm not 100% sure. So if you can, just send us an email, I will check and I can get back to you. Okay. Now I'll go, okay, is there any bachelor program in agriculture? So again, like Naveen, we'll have to check it out. Like, so there are programs, but we won't call the program as agriculture, right? Agriculture is what? Agriculture is a mixture of lot of understanding of biology, zoology, and like understanding plants, so you would have to figure out like what is the program that is suitable for you. Now, Sanya is asking, how can I get maximum financial? Uh, I'll just okay, just a second. How can I get maximum financial aid or scholarship? How much SAT and TOEFL score is required? Which all test should I take? Is SAT subject test required? Okay, good question, Sanya. So, Sanya, financial aid and scholarship, as I said, like for typically an international student is always merit based. What does that mean? That they don't really care about your income. What they care about is your merit. Okay, so do not mix financial aid or scholarship. Those are two different things. Financial aid has different types. One type of financial aid is a scholarship. So you would be, as an international student, be eligible for a scholarship. You need to score well in 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. Okay, so if your academics are very good, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, then you can be eligible for a $6,000 scholarship per year, renewable up to 4 years. So you can get $24,000 in the form of a scholarship from Wright State University if your profile is really good. And for that, we do not need SAT and we do not need SAT subject test. We need your academics to be really good. Now, TOEFL score I have already covered in my PPT. So the TOEFL score required is somewhere around like 70 plus on an undergrad level. I personally would prefer if you try and score like at least 80, in TOEFL out of 120, so that it kind of also leaves a good impression. So I hope that would have answered your question. Let's go to Vihari. So Vihari is asking, I have applied to Wright State University a week ago for spring in MS Electrical. When can I expect the result of the admission? So for that, like Vihari, like good that you have applied, we would need to check the application ID. So just give me 1 minute. I'll just quickly go back. So I think now you can see my email ID, right? So just like send me an email on this particular ID with your application ID or the email address that you used in order to apply. So then I would have to go back in the system and check like at what stage your application is and how much time will it take for the admission decision to be out. So let's discuss this one on one on via email, because right now I cannot tell you like what status is of your application. Now let's take another question from Sanya. Sanya says, is credit system available in all the university? In USA, the education system is on the basis of credits. So in all the universities in the US, you will have the credit system. Yes. Are there webinar of other university? So Sanya, you will have to check with Manya Education on that. They keep on organizing like webinars. So every week they try to organize like, two more webinars. So I would say follow them on Facebook, follow them on LinkedIn, follow them everywhere, check out their website so that you can see what are the kind of sessions that they are going to conduct, and you can attend these webinars and you can ask like questions directly with university reps like me. Okay. So Chandra says, will SAT boost our chances of selection? Very good question, Chandra. So Chandra, how it works is that the thumb rule is that SAT is always going to boost your chances. Now, what it means also is that SAT is not a substitute of a poor GPA or a poor undergrad or a poor high school, right? So let's say if I scored in 12th board at 50%, 55%, I was not very serious. Now SAT can help me, but again my scores are going to be low in 12th, so that's not going to get you an admission decision, right? So what I would say is keep a fine balance. If your academics are good and then you are also taking an SAT, then obviously if you are scoring good, then your chances of scholarship increase. your chances of acceptance increase. Some universities make sure that the SAT is mandatory. Okay, so in that case, obviously SAT is going to be an add-on. Now, one good news for all your undergrad students who are attending this session today. So there is no application fee for all the undergrad students if you apply via Wright State University portal. So in case if you are interested in fall 2021 or spring 2021, I would recommend that you submit the application as soon as possible, because currently there is no application fee. Because of COVID, we have waived it. So I would definitely recommend that make use of it, because I do not know till what time the fee waiver or fee will be waived off. Otherwise, you will have to pay $30 as an application fee. So make use of that. Now, Gopi Sai is asking what is the backlog limit of graduation. So there is no backlog limit, Gopi. Like as I again said, I will reiterate the fact. Academics are important. GPA is important. Now, if you got, let's say, two backlogs, but then you reappeared for those backlogs, and this time you scored really good. So we know that, okay, it's not that you cannot understand this subject. Okay, it is like that you were not serious. Maybe you were partying too much, right? We don't know. So then obviously you need to understand what was the reason. But then if you have performed well and if you have cleared the backlogs, and because of that, if your GPA is high, then it's all right. Like, don't worry about the backlogs too much. As long as you say, Apurva, I have 20 backlogs, that is a problem. If you say I have 30 backlogs, that is a problem, right? If you have one or two backlogs, three backlogs, fine, right? Because if your GPA is good, if your GRE is good, then it can offset it. But if both the parameters are poor and you are saying, oh, I have 10, 15, 20, 30 backlogs, you would not get an admission. Krishna. So Krishna says, sir, so there will be campus selection in Wright State University. I do not know, Krishna, what do you mean by that question? But if you are asking about campus, so we have two campus. One is the Dayton campus and another is a Cecil campus, like in Ohio. But for international student, I would recommend, or I would say that go to Dayton campus, because that's where most of the programs are being offered. So if that is the, oh, sorry, now I got the question. So campus selection is an Indian term. In US, you need to apply for internships and jobs and everything on your own. And it's not about Wright State. Even Stanford, Harvard, Wharton does not matter. Every university in the US will only prepare you for the interview. Applying to a job, reaching out to an employer, discussing with the employer, writing emails is all your job. We coach you, we do not spoon feed you, right? In US, everything is done via manner of coaching. This session that we are doing is a form of coaching. I am educating you about this system. I am not going to give you a sheet that has all the answers. You will have to find the answers, right? So similarly, in campus selection, no campus selection, but we will invite the companies for you. So the companies will come and will do sessions like this, the session that we are doing right now. Okay, and the companies will address your queries. You will have to keep your resume updated, so that obviously you can produce that, hey, I am a good student, I need job, this is my resume, what should I do, you will get into an interview. So that's how recruitment works in the US. Now, how many years of OPT will be provided after masters in STEM? So there are two types of OPT. One is optional practical training, the normal one. Then second is STEM OPT, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So these are the four that are there, right? So in STEM OPT, you get additional 24 months. So 12 months of OPT plus 24 months of STEM OPT. So in total, you will get 3 years stay back. Okay, let's go next. Mohammed Mohib is asking, sir, could you please explain in detail about credit system? Mohib, I spent like almost 30 minutes explaining the credit system. So like I would not be able to go into the details all over again. But if you specifically want to understand more, my email address is there. Please drop me an email. We can get on and call and I will try and explain the credit system again to you. Sanya, okay, what is some demerits due to COVID? Will we face difficulties even if the university accepts us? Sanya, there is currently no problem in terms of visa. To be honest, like COVID has only made the visa little easier because US people like are being more liberal, are being more welcoming, because a lot of students wanted to go to the US, but because of COVID, they could not. So if anything has happened, the visa has become little more simplified. So no problems because of COVID. All you need to do is apply for visa in time and be a good student. Otherwise, like there is no problem. Sayed says, I have 7 years of experience. Can I apply for masters? See, experience is just a number. If you have a specific case, if you have the reason of why you want to go for a master's degree, then by all means apply. We don't put any age, or we don't make any any bar that okay, if you have 5 years you cannot apply. No, if you have 10 years, apply. The only problem is that if you have 7 years of an experience, and if let's say you apply and you get an offer letter and you get an I-20, the visa officer can ask you that why did you wait for 7 years before you apply for your master's degree, right? So if you have a good answer for that, Sayyid Hussaini, right, so then feel free. There is no worries. Apply, get an admit, file a visa. If you have a genuine reason, not an issue. If you don't have any reason, then it can be little difficult. So I think we are at 7:56 and we have 4 more minutes to go before we wrap this thing up. So if you have any other questions that I can answer in these 4 minutes, please put them in the chat box. Feel free. My details are there, and I'm again shifting the slide because I assume everyone would have noted down the details right now. So I'm just again putting in the details of Manya Education so that in case you need any application assistance, reach out to them, and what else? I don't see any more questions. So maybe I spoke too much. I do not know if the session was really helpful to you all, but obviously even in future, if you have any query, any doubt, any concerns regarding Right State, feel free. And one of the student, I do not remember the name now, but whoever has applied to Right State University, so for a status check, just like ping me separately. I'll get you the status. So Anmol, anything else that we need to cover, or are we good?
No, Pur, I think the session was good. I think thank you so much for a detailed, wonderful, and I think it was a great session. I think all the queries were being assisted quite in detail, and the student would have got the complete detailing. So, wherein students, I would request all students to note down the contact details on the screen, and they can contact the Manya team, and we'll surely be assisting you for all your inquiries ahead. I think I can all good. We can wind off the session. Thank you.
Perfect. So I just see like one last question. I'll take that and we can wrap it up. So Sanya is asking, after completing UG course, what placement? So again, Sanya, as I explained, there is no concept of campus recruitment and placement in the US. What US people call, they call it as career services. Career services is going to help you prepare for your resume, will prepare you for mock interviews, will prepare you of how to speak, how to present, how to dress. So we'll train you. We would not get you placed. Placement is an Indian term. Okay. In USA, you will have to get placed yourself. We will coach you, we will train you. Okay. Will admission fee be waived for masters? No, admission fee, I do not know what do you mean, but if you say application fee on masters level is not waived, and it's only $40. And why we do not waive it is because we only want serious students to apply. So I'm sorry, but on masters level, like you need to pay the $40 application fee. Okay. So Anmol, let's wrap it up. Thanks for having me. Thanks a lot, Manya Education, for having me here. I hope the session was helpful. Thanks a lot, all the students, for attending this session. Obviously, reach out to Manya, reach out to me, and we'll obviously be happy to, you know, reach back and again help you out. So thanks a lot. Bye.